All right, welcome back to Ask Your Dad. Today I'm talking about Warfare, the new movie that just came out. It came out 2 days ago. Just got a chance to watch it. And so this is something I think you should talk to your dad about. And if you don't, you got me. Here's my dad take on it. Whether you have a little bit of oorah, hooyah, oorah for the Marines, maybe just a little bit of booyah. I think most dads want to go out and see the new war movies that come out. Maybe not see them in theaters anymore, but wait until they come out and pay a few bucks for them. So Warfare is directed by Ray Mendoza and Alex Garland. Alex Garland has made some really amazing movies in the past, like The Beach from like 2000, pretty wild movie, Ex Machina in 2015, and Annihilation. Of those three movies, I would not let my kids watch any of those movies. Now wait till the end until I tell you whether or not I'll let my kids watch this movie. So this was a pretty fantastic movie. It was about a Navy SEAL team that was pinned down in Ramadi, had to call in backup to get out from their position from another SEAL team, and things just get super intense throughout the whole movie. I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but some people get hurt in it. Obviously, it's a war movie. Things happen. The thing that I really liked about this movie was it didn't glorify war in any way, like typically how Hollywood movies really portray it. I thought it was really realistic. Never having been in a situation like that myself, it just seemed more realistic than other movies like, I don't know, like The Fast and the Furious or any other shoot 'em up movie like John Wick. And another thing I really liked about it was there were times when, if you're coming from another war movie, you expect action constantly. You want constant visuals or audio or anything like that. But this movie had a lot of silent portions of it, or a lot of waiting portions of it. And I know that might be boring, but in reality that's war. War isn't always going, 100% of the time. There's a lot of training, there's a lot of workups, there's a lot of things you got to do in between. And hopefully, most people will never actually see that combat situation. So anyways, this is a totally armchair opinion about the movie because I've never been in a combat situation. I will never be in a combat situation as a supply officer for the Navy. I can't imagine there would ever be a scenario where I would be in any situation even remotely close to this. But from a military member perspective, it was very humbling. It was humbling as a father and as just like a husband. I think as men, we typically, when we see movies like this, we always ask ourselves, or if you're not asking yourselves, you should ask yourselves, or ask your dad about this especially too, is, hey, can I see myself being put in that position? Can I see my children maybe put in that position someday? And if I were in that position, how would I react to these? There was one really poignant part of the movie that I really, really liked, probably for maybe all the wrong reasons, but there was this part where a guy basically admitted that he was breaking down. He couldn't handle the position that he was in anymore, and he asked somebody, hey, you need to take over. And I thought that was very powerful. A lot of movies nowadays, like, I don't know, The Untouchables. I've never seen The Untouchables, but any like action movie like that, the hero very rarely ever admits fault for something or turns over power in any way. But in reality, a strong leader knows when, hey, this has reached a point where my capacity, I don't have the capacity for this anymore. I need help or I need assistance. Because holding on to that power when you're not in the right mindset or in the right physical condition can obviously lead others down a terrible road. From other like podcasts and books I've read about this incident in Ramadi and the whole, early 2000s war on terrorism, I thought that this really echoed a lot of those stories very well. I think it was told very well. I highly recommend the movie. However, very graphic. There is a lot of scenes, not like the graphic in the sense of like John Wick, but there are some, pretty gory scenes. I would not let my son or daughter watch this movie until they were much older. Right now I have a 4-year-old and 2-year-old. Obviously they're not going to be watching these movies, but even if I had a 13, maybe even a 15-year-old, I would hesitate allowing them to watch the movie. Also, on the other side of the fence, I believe that things like this are really important. Maybe not in the graphic sense, but having our kids, see the reality. Hey, this is what war is. The war is not, 1917 I thought was a really great movie also, but there's a lot of movies that really glorify, I don't know, even dying in war and just action and just killing the enemy and all of these things. I don't think that is what it's all about. I think it's important to have these conversations with our sons and daughters about like, hey, what does it mean to go to war? What does it mean to fight for our freedoms? And to be completely honest, this is something that I had to, confront myself much later in life. I was always very hesitant to join the military. I always thought that I wouldn't, or if I did, I'd probably do it any time between 18 and 22. I feel like there was a statute of limitations, and at the end of a certain age, you probably pretty much give up on the idea. But anyways, I joined when I was 30, 31, so a little bit later in life, and that's something that I hadn't really thought about. But the reason I think I put it off for so long is because I've seen movies like these things. I've never really talked to anybody about it. So I just assumed if I joined, I'd be put into a situation eventually where somebody put a gun in my hand and they said, go. In reality, that's not the case. So I encourage you, talk to your dad about it, talk to your peers about it. If I'm the only opinion you got about it, about joining the military, I mean, this isn't a, hey, go out and join the military type of talk right now. This is just, hey, the movie was great. I don't think it glorified war. I think it, did those people's, the story, I thought it did it justice, and it doesn't end the way that most, war movies end with a big, hoo-yah, let's go kill the enemy and everything like that. So go check it out. I highly recommend the movie. This was Ask Your Dad.